I've been down there many, many times. I've been at below rock bottom. I was in my 30s. Business went straight up. It went down below zero. How can you lose more money? Invest your money. So I was down $800,000 at 32 years old. And my rich dad and my poor dad, my poor dad was a great guy. He's a school teacher, head of education for the state of Hawaii. And my poor dad felt sorry for me. And my rich dad says, hey, congratulations. You lost your first business. See, it's in the mindset. He says most entrepreneurs will lose 3 businesses. So rather than run and declare bankruptcy, he says, look, go talk to all your investors, tell them you messed up, tell them you're going to work it out, you're going to pay them back, and go fix that business of yours. So rather than run and hide like some of my partners did, this is in Hawaii where I started the Velcro wallet business. I had to go back in and kind of find out most of the mistakes I made. And then when I could pay people back, because the business was up and running, then I started to pay people back from the successful operation. So I learned more from failing than I did in all my years of school. So that was really good. And then I took my little nylon wallet company out of the surfer market and I took it into rock and roll, of all things. So then I learned how another whole end of entrepreneurship, and that's what paid off my $800,000 in debt. So I always look at failure as an opportunity to learn and get bigger. Unfortunately, our school system teaches kids that if you make mistakes, you're stupid. And in real life, the people that make the most mistakes are the smartest people. You look at when I play golf, I go out there and practice, but I don't practice 1/100th of practice making mistakes. You practice to make mistakes, right? So guys like Tiger Woods, this guy Jordan Spieth, McIlroy, they've made more mistakes than I ever will. So the guys that make the most mistakes in life win, except in school, because you get punished for making mistakes. So it's just in your mindset. And so when I lost my first company, it was great. I lived on the street, I was homeless, got yelled at a lot by my investors. It was building self-esteem, I said, I'll pay you back. You trusted me, I messed up, but I'll pay you back. And it was that spirit, it's called the entrepreneur spirit. I rebuilt the company and we pulled it out of bankruptcy. I never declared bankruptcy, but I paid back my investors. I still had no money, but I paid back my investors.
You wake up tomorrow morning and you're on the street and you have nothing, you don't have a single contact in your network. All you have is the knowledge and experience that you've had throughout your career. How do you build up from there?
Well, I've been there many times, so it's no big deal. You just figure out what's needed and wanted and you go do it. People always kind of dump on fast food industry. If I had to do it again, I'd go work for McDonald's. And the reason I go work for McDonald's, whether it's $7 an hour or 15, I don't really care. I don't really like McDonald's food, but they have the best business systems in the world. How else can a company take virtually non-college educated people and build a fast food industry across the world? And they have the best system. So right inside little McDonald's, you can learn everything you need to learn about business except for the management side of it. So I just go work at McDonald's so I can learn even more. So I look at life as learning. I'm constantly learning. I'm reading constantly, studying constantly. I spend most of my time with entrepreneurs. I don't spend my time with people who complain about the economy. So nothing will really change. I just go back to being an entrepreneur.
Take this true story and analyze that. What is characteristic of this experience, and what would you say are the key things to learn from it?
Well, I use the word again, it's called spirit. It's called the entrepreneur spirit versus the employee spirit. They're very, very different. Because from the spirit goes to mindset. You know, an employee will always use the same words. I want a safe, secure job with a paycheck and benefits. That's not a very strong spirit. Whereas an entrepreneur will say, hey, I fell down, stand up. You know, that's all there is. And with, I've fallen down, it was $800,000. It's not a lot of money, but to pay it back from nothing, it required a lot of spirit. So a lot of people talk about trust in God and belief in God and all this stuff. If you're an entrepreneur, you better live it. You know, you better have a spirit that's so strong, you cannot let other people's opinions and criticisms. At that point, he started to learn. He says, I learned a lot from my last business. Let me take what I learned from my last business and put it into this business. So today, I'm an entrepreneur in education. I teach entrepreneurship because I understand what entrepreneurship is. The other thing that qualifies me to be an entrepreneur, or a teacher, should I say, is I'm one of those kids who don't like school. You know, school is good for people who like school, but here was my poor dad, head of education, PhD, on the governor's board of Hawaii and all this stuff, and his kid, me, and I'm flunking out of school because I can't read, I can't write. And I said I couldn't read, I couldn't write. I was bored out of my mind, you know. I was just, hey. So what I did instead was, that's when I met my rich dad, who was my best friend's father, and he used these things called a game. See, games are the best teaching tools. So when I'm playing this game, this is how the rich taught their kids battle strategies called chess. My rich dad taught me to be a rich man playing Monopoly. We played Monopoly hour after hour after hour. You know, the formula for great wealth of Monopoly is 4 green houses, 1 red hotel. So today in Arizona, I own 8,000 greenhouses and several red hotels. I just play Monopoly for real. So that's the power of a game, because a game engages me mentally, physically, because I actually have to move things, emotionally, because when somebody knocks me out, I better wake up. You know, I made a mistake. And spiritually, because it's spirit that wins. You know, if you just saw Golden State play the you know, everybody's, I mean, I love LeBron James, I love Cleveland, you know, but one guy cannot take on a team. And I think LeBron scored 60% of all the points in assists and all that, but a better team beat him. So when you look at business is the same thing. Business is a team sport. I have to have good accountants, good attorneys, good marketing guys, good tech guys, great staff. I have to have great leaders, you know. The trouble with most entrepreneurs are self-employed. So they quit their job. And you know, in America today, the SBA, the Small Business Administration, says there's 28 million small business owners. 28 million. 24 million are classified as non-employers. Remember, they're a one-man team. You know, they'd be like, this guy said, okay, I'm going to take you on. Are you crazy? But that's what most entrepreneurs are trying to do. Because that's what they're taught to do in school, to be the rugged individual. You know, in school, I was very successful as long as I could cooperate at test time. But in school, cooperation at test time is called cheating. In the real world, the guys that have the biggest team